knock.
Yeah.
As long as I look good, who cares? One time I turned it on and somehow the camera had gotten flipped, and so it was facing, there was a person right behind it. And then someone unmuted themselves and said, "Hey, turn the camera around." No one's joining us online right now. But we're good. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining today. And we have been on a series regarding chakras. And the chakras are the main energy centers in the body. I try to do this every year and a half. It's always fun and it's always informative. And I give the brunt of the information more or less on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, I kind of narrow it down a little bit. But one thing that I wanted to mention about the chakras that we've been going over is first chakra is about self-preservation. It's about our ancestral roots, our family ties, our sense of safety and security, our instincts, survival skills. And then moving up to the second chakra, it's about our emotional seat. It's about polarity. It's about pain and pleasure. It concerns personal relationships. And this is about career and money and about adaptability, how fluid we are, how well we're adapting to changes. And this is considered the area of self-gratification. Moving up to the third is that place of power where we can also become disempowered. So it's determining if we have excess or deficiency here. It's the seat of the ego, it's our personality, it's our likes and our dislikes. It's what we're feeding ourselves. What are we feeding ourselves, not just through food, but what are we consuming, digesting, and processing that's happening in life and around us and in our environment and within our relations. Then we move on, this is about self-definition. We move up to the fourth. It's all about the embodiment of love and everything that encompasses love. We can be courageous, we can have faith, we can be devoted, we can have gratitude, we can be compassionate and kind and caring and have empathy. All of these wonderful things at the heart. This is about self-acceptance. We moved up to the fifth chakra, which is about expression, hearing, and speaking and living our truth, our creative, expressive nature in life. And then this is about self-expression. We moved up to the third eye. The third eye is all about our awareness. It's about self-reflection, how well we're able to see our habits and our patterns to see if they are serving us well or not. And if not, maybe we can edit and reprogram some of that, because the southern pole of the third eye is the reptilian brain, the subconscious part of the brain. This is where a lot of the habits are, where our traumas are, where we get triggered, where we tend to be reactive. And we're trying to move more into the prefrontal cortex, which is where we're more compassionate and intuitive, and our creative imagination is bigger and we see the broader picture of things. So then we move up to the crown chakra, and that's where we're at this week. The crown chakra is about self-knowledge and self-realization. It's understanding that you are not just your thoughts. You are not just this physical shell and body. You discover, hey, there's something more than that. And that piece that's more is the infinite self, the higher self, the inner witness. It's the inner witness that understands that there is this bridge between us and source. We are connected and linked to the creator, to God, whatever name you want to put with it. But it's understanding that we do have this connection and we have a purpose and we have a part that we play in life. And so a lot of people are disconnected from this point if they've had forced religion, right? Or if they have spiritual skepticism, if they are narrow-minded and can't understand or even try to see another person's point of view, and not realizing that they are a part of the whole and the whole is a part of us. So the crown chakra is actually a really important thing. It's described as a 1,000-petaled lotus, usually pictured purple or white. And I learned something new this week about the lotus, blooming on the top of the head. So 1,000 petals represents infinite potential and infinite possibilities, infinite unfoldment and different awakenings and enlightenment we can receive. But the petals just don't go up. This is what I learned this week. The petals just don't go up. The petals actually also point down like a sunflower, because we want to receive the nectar of that as well. So it's not just exiting out here, complete transcendence. It's also remembering, yes, we are this beautiful light body. We are this spiritual being. However, the nectar comes down. We are still in this physical existence, still living on this physical plane, and still need to have our roots in the mud. We still need to have, a connection to the first chakra as well as the seventh. So that's kind of the synopsis of the crown chakra. Two primary poses for this we'll be doing today. We'll be doing Sasana hair pose that takes us to the top of the head. We will also be doing a form of headstand. I did bring in this yoga lift. It makes it super easy. If you have neck issues, there's not a problem using this device, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Of course, if you just don't feel like completely inverting yourself and going upside down, you don't have to. The last thing I want to mention, I had this epiphany on Monday, so I want to share it. I've never read this. I've never been taught this. It was just an awakening that I had concerning the chakras. So if we're focused on movement, if we're focused on like physical exertion or exercise or yoga, tai chi, running can be a meditation, whatever it is. If we're solely focused on what we're doing physically, that's the meditation on the lower chakras, because that's the physical part. If we are, say, for instance, going into like a float tank, floating on the water, well, that's like second chakra, right? We're meditating with the water. If you are moving upward and doing like a breathing meditation, that's the air element. That's all heart. It's a heart-centered meditation. If you are using mantra and reciting the repetition of a phrase or an affirmation or a sacred sound, or even sound meditation, that's fifth chakra. If you are using guided visualization, a shamanic journey, anything that's giving you a visual to picture in your mind's eye, that's third eye meditation. And this is why supreme meditation is silence. Silence is the sound or the lack of sound of the crown chakra. That is the highest form of meditation. It's the hardest form of meditation. The hardest, but it's the peak. So hopefully by the end of the practice, we'll have a few minutes to sit in silence together. We won't do 15 or 20 minutes. We'll just do a couple minutes, but at least you'll get a little taste of it. All right, so we're going to start today in crocodile pose. And passive crocodile is where we're in a prone position with the feet apart. And go ahead and come into Sphinx arms so that your chest is off the floor. With your chest off the floor, just kind of rock and shimmy your hips side to side. Jiggle it out, because we're trying to loosen the low back. I don't know if you've noticed, but the low back, especially since 2020 and all this has happened, at least in my body, has been just super tight, super cranky. All right, now that you've relaxed all of that, cross your arms in front of you and then lower your head down. You might even feel a slight tingling in the soles of the feet from the rocking motion and getting some of that energy circulating through the lower body. The more tuned in and tapped in that you get energetically, one reason we go over energetic anatomy is so that you can have your own inner experience and knowing, right, self-knowledge, crown chakra, that we are composed of energy and it's constantly flowing through us. So you're resting on the mind's eye here, the midpoint of your forehead. This is the positive or north pole of the third eye. Penetrating this point, adding in this pressure, it's like an acupressure point, helping to incite and to induce a mental peace. To promote this mental peace, you can also participate with your breath. And let's take 3 cleansing breaths since we're face down. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, breathe it out through your mouth. Good, 2 more. Last one. Now I want you to affirm mentally within, I have the right to know and to learn. I stay open to new ideas. And I know I am connected to Source. I have the right to know and to learn. I stay open to new ideas. And I know I am connected to Source. On your next in breath, we're slowly going to slide the legs closer together. Lift and lengthen each leg specifically so that your leg bones are shooting back and your feet are glued to the floor. Your kneecaps and quads are engaged and lifted. And then slowly elevate your face. Turn your elbows to align underneath the head and shoulder bones. Line up your arms so they're in the Sphinx position. Spread out through your fingers and float up through the crown of your head. Your buttocks should feel firm and your belly can retract, especially if you're feeling a little sensitive in the low back. Close the eyes. And imagine the base or foundation of this pose, which is primarily the pubic bone, is like the roots growing down into the mud. Your spine, like the stem of the lotus, and picture that white or purple lotus unfolding at the crown of your head. The Crown Chakra governs the cerebral brain and the nervous system. There's clusters of nerves that travel down through the spine. Take a deep breath in, slow breath out. And then relax your neck a little bit, curl your toes under, and then pluck up away from the floor. Use your upper body strength, use your core, your quad strength. And then slowly travel the feet forward, baby stepping. And push back away from the forearms, allowing the head to hover away from the ground in dolphin pose. Dolphin's very similar to downward facing dog. You're on your forearms, you're using triceps, the back of the arms, deltoids, the outer shoulders. And we're draining everything towards the face, towards the crown. Take one last breath here in dolphin. This is the harder one, I think. Exhale into your knees. Now test the waters here. See what I'm talking about. Bring the hands to lace together and glue the palms shut. Make sure your elbows are not as wide as the outer frame of the shoulders, so crawl them in just another smidge. Keep the toes curled, launch back into dolphin, but this time with your hands gripping together. And notice the difference. Hopefully you feel stronger and more confident in this version of the pose. What makes this different is think about the body's divided into the right and left side, into the masculine and feminine, the lunar and the solar. When the hands come together, it creates a circuit. So the life force works more in an integrated way, more harmonious way. Now sink your knees down to the ground, untuck your toes, turn your hands to face forward again, and you're going to roll open into cow tilt. And as you exhale, you're rounding it towards a cat stretch. Inhale to cow, sinking the belly, opening the heart and throat. And exhale, drop the tailbone, scooping through the belly, hang the head. Do that one more round. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat stretch and hold cat stretch, because this is really important. I want you to feel the muscles that are engaged and having to work in your arms, shoulders, and upper back. This is going to come into play later. Same with your navel. Feel your navel piercing in and up. On your exhalation, sink back towards your heels and circle the arms around your legs. Let your palms open up alongside your feet. And you're coming back down to the brow. Let your shoulders just relax and drizzle and drape over your knees. Take some diaphragmatic breaths to feel the belly expanding and pressing into your thighs, and then releasing back away. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the top of the head. So we're going to slide the hands right beside the knees, or just right in front of the knees, whatever feels more comfortable. Keep your arms kind of knit in towards your side body so they're not leaning out. And on your inhalation, you're slowly going to pick up your hips and you're going to roll across the top of the head. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly roll back to your forehead and bring the hips back down. And you're going to do that 6 more times. So we're doing a total of 7. Rolling forward and up to Sasandasana, hair pose. And then exhale, rolling back to the forehead. All right, so this is one of the primary poses for the crown chakra. And so there's tons of acupressure and marma points on the top of the head as well. You can stimulate the hair follicles. I had someone who was ex-military, a triathlete in class the other day, and we were doing lots of massage techniques after doing this. And he said to me after class, he had this mystical experience of seeing this flash of light. After you're 7, you can slide your arms out in front of you, lift up to look down the lane of your mat, rock up to hands and knees, and as you exhale, you're gonna take downward facing dog. And from Adho Mukha Svanasana, power down through the palms, straighten out through your limbs as best you can. It is okay and acceptable if you need to bend the knees to get the hamstrings out of the way in order to soar your hips to the highest degree possible. So we're trying to bring the energy up from the earth, up from the limbs into our seat. That's the pinnacle of the pose. At the same time, this pose can be calming and cooling for the nervous system because we're and inverted, thus good for the crown chakra. Inhale, lift high to the toes. Exhale, descend to your knees.
Untuck the toes when you land. Inhale, open up to cow. Exhale, take it into cat stretch. Undulate from the low back to the mid back to the upper back and neck. With each of these postures. Notice you don't have quite the engagement in the upper body like you did with your forearms down. That's what I want you to be aware of. Your own knowing from your own experience. All right, next time you breathe in, just plug the belly in, tabletop, curl the toes, launch into downward facing dog, and then walk your hands back towards your feet. Lower your heels down to your mat, fold in half. Letting your arms hang like a rag doll. Maybe nodding your head to release the neck. Plug the feet down, electrify the legs. So we often think first chakra with this pose, but it's equally good for the seventh. Notice how everything is pouring to the crown of the head. Affirm and hear nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back from achieving self-realization. On your next in-breath, bring the arms to your sides and up overhead. Bring the palms together, open up the throat center. Feel as though you're gathering all the positive energy of the universe your way. And then exhale, pour right down through the middle, releasing the hands apart, returning to Uttanasana. Now we're going to walk the hands out in front of us. We're going to come to plank position. And we're going to do a sequence here that's going to build some upper body strength and core strength. So you're going to lift and hover your right foot, stretching it towards the back wall. As you exhale, you're going to power back into Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana, one-legged downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come forward, flying plank. Good. Exhale, take it back. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're keeping the right leg long for now. Good modification, Gabriel. Come forward again to plank. Back to the form of downward facing dog. Come forward again to plank. You can do this next exercise with the left knee on the floor if need be, but we're going to exhale to cheetah, curling the nose and the knees to each other. Inhale, straighten out through your spine, right leg, flying plank. Exhale, cheetah, contract and curl in. Inhale again, flying plank. Exhale, cheetah. Now inhale, flying plank. Last one, back it up to Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And swing the right foot through and up between the hands. Take your time to get the foot flat. Press down through the foot and so you can rise up to crescent lunge. Find your stability here. Y'all, I'm gonna have to drop into child's pose in a little bit. I'm getting a major hot flash right now. This is so weird. All right, exhale, take it into this form where you're hinging over, hovering over the front thigh. All right, inhale, bringing it up. All right, I'm just gonna try to move through it. Now I know what all you ladies used to tell me about in the studio. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, you're gonna bring your hands down to the floor or blocks if need be. To fly the left leg skyward, and we're bowing over the front leg into standing split. So again, you may or may not need blocks. Sometimes it helps with stability and bringing the floor to you if your hamstrings are tighter. We are just trying to dip the head lower than the heart here to receive in these higher chakras. using gravity. Now bend the right knee, lower the left foot down beside it. And then inhale, straighten your legs, hands to the shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Good, exhale, flow down, belly, chest, base. Inhale all the way up to the top, upward worship. Recognizing we are a part of the whole. Exhale, pour down. Release the hands. Bow your head in. Inhale, we're taking plank. Now we get that whole glorious sequence on this side. Lift your left foot. All right, exhale, press back. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good, inhale, flying plank. Exhale, one-legged downward facing dog. One more. Inhale forward, head up. Exhale, take it back. Good, inhale, flying plank. Exhale, cheetah this time. Inhale, flying plank. Exhale, cheetah. Last one, inhale, flying plank. Exhale, cheetah. Inhale, flying plank, back to downward facing dog. And this is where we're gonna swing and step the left foot forward and through between the hands. Once you find the stability through the feet, engage your core, and rise up, balance and breathe. If your balance is really unsturdy today, you can stay right here. Don't feel like you have to do anything else. But if you want to flow, hinge forward, arms back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. One more. This time when we come up to crescent, we're going to maneuver into that standing split, hands to the floor or blocks, pushing down mightily through the left foot and extending the right leg skyward, pointing the toes, bowing the head. Bending the left knee, taking the right foot down beside it. Inhale, straighten out, hands to shins. Exhale, release. Beautiful, inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plank. We're not doing the flying planks again. Hallelujah. Shift forward, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to table, enough to float the arms up. To wing the arms back, Ustrasana camel. And then exhale over to child's. Two more of those. Inhale, coming forward, arms up, then splay and arch back. And fold into child's pose. One more. Inhale, camel. Opening ourselves to the light. And exhale, dropping into our inner haven of peace. Be here. Slide your arms forward. Rock at hands and knees. Right hand's gonna stay as is. The left forearm's gonna lower. All right, inhale, shoot your right leg up and back. Splay the toes wide apart. See if you can see the paint between each of the toes. And then exhale, strengthen your hip, keep the knee up. and draw it into the side body. And then inhale, pick it up and back. Good, exhale, draw it in, bring the navel in, 2. Good, continue, inhale. Exhale, draw it in. Last one. Good, lower the right knee down, come back to table, and then sink your right forearm. Pick up your right knee, or excuse me, left knee, extend the left leg, splay the toes, see if you can see the paint color in between each one. And then exhale, keep the knee pretty high as you draw it into the upper arm. Go nice and slow. Rhythmic movements to match your rhythmic breathing. Last one. And then lower the left knee. Snack back onto your palms, curl your toes, take downward facing dog. All right, inhale, we're gonna lift the right leg up. Come forward to flying plank. Just one cheetah. Inhale, right leg shoots up and back. Exhale, step the right foot forward and through between the hands. All right, we're building on this. Inhale to crescent. Exhale, bring your arms back like wings of an airplane. Okay, instead of doing the twist, or not the twist, but the standing split, we're gonna take a twist. So bring the hands to the floor or to blocks and straighten out your right leg. So this is where blocks can be very useful. You want the right leg straight. Good. Roll your left hip towards the front side of the room. Stack your left hand below your left shoulder and drive your heart forward and out. There you go. Take your right arm and reach ahead. Push down through your left hand and slowly revolve open through your belly and chest, flaring that right arm skyward. You got it. Nice. One more breath. Try to squeeze that right hip in just a tad. Exhale, lower the right hand down, lunge the knee. Lose the blocks. Right foot to plank. Feel free to take a vinyasa. And then from downward facing dog, we'll do the sequence to the left. So inhale, the left leg's gonna rise. Shift forward to flying plank. Take one cheetah. Back to flying plank. To downward facing dog. To swing the left foot through. Coming up to crescent when you're ready. Folding over on the exhale. And then we're going to set up for the twist. So hands down or blocks underneath. And yeah, Debbie, bring your blocks a little closer to your foot. Yeah. Straighten out your left leg. Good. And it's okay if you have to come to fingertips to get the front leg straight. Roll the right hip to the front wall. Lengthen your left arm ahead of you. And slowly revolve open to your left. Breathe. Exhale, lunge the knee, lower the left hand, loose the blocks, bring the back foot forward, Lift up halfway. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, elevate your heels, come to toe balance. Hands to the knees to slowly erect the spine. Bring the hands together over the crown of the head. And then you're going to create the lotus mudra. Pinkies and thumbs stay together, the other fingers splay apart to represent the 1,000-petaled lotus. Slowly bring the hands down, step back, and land to your knees, or just come down safely, however that works for you. I know we're all different. Okay, so what we worked on as the warm-up in the beginning was to really become acutely aware of the muscles that we need to engage in the upper body. And then we continue to do a flow purpose to strengthen the core, to keep the upper body strong, and to just heat us up, okay? I got too heated. We're gonna use a blanket for this. You're going to have your blanket kind of midway down your mat. And then you're going to take the top end of the sticky mat on top of the blanket. Good. This is just going to give us a lot of extra padding. You're going to want it. So earlier on Monday, we worked on Shirshasana 1. Shirshasana 1 is the headstand like this, you know, where we come up. And it was all, again, about the same upper body muscles that we're going to be incorporating for Shirshasana 2. And we're going to do Shirshasana 2 today, which most people find to be easier. However, if you have had a broken neck, if you've had recent injury to your neck, if you have a recent misalignment to your neck, if your chiropractor has said, don't be standing on your head, you're going to do this. Okay? But let me show you, and then we're all going to do it together. If we're going to be using our hands and head as the foundation, we want it to be an equilateral triangle, okay? And the main mistake that I see from people is the head way too close to the hands, which takes us out of alignment and which can also throw us off balance. Okay, now for me personally, this hurts my wrist if I'm on too much cushion. So what I do is I use the cushion and I kind of slide the fingers underneath the blanket, so my hands are actually more on the wood floor mat, and you want them shoulder distance apart. The arms need to hook in. So do this with me really quick. Have your hands in front of your shoulders, and then squeeze your elbows down towards your chest. Feel the muscular work? That's what we're doing, okay? That action. So once the fingers are under, you're creating the action with the upper body, and you may have to crawl the knees forward to get your head way beyond where your fingers would be. And then you can watch me if you need to, if you're not familiar with this. You tuck your toes, lift your knees, and you crawl, crawl, crawl to the end. Notice how the hips get higher. The arms still have to stay engaged, so that your arms are going to work as shelves for the knees, and you point the toes and lift them up. And then you can come down. If you want to take it all the way up, you can, but you don't have to. But this is just the prep. So let's go ahead and try it. Slide your fingers up underneath the mat. And then, yes, crawl the knees forward so your head is forward. That is the page. That looks good. Yeah, you're doing good. I was just trying to remember your name. Come to the top of the head, crown of the head. That's it, Debbie. And then your arms may want to loosen up. So once you bend the knees, you crawl the feet in, make sure your arms are locking into place. Get your hips elevated as your feet crawl in. And then bring one knee at a time to the upper arms. And then point and lift the toes. And maybe just try one foot. You don't have to necessarily do both.
One foot.
Make sure your core is engaged. Nice, Christy. All right, so with this, for those of you that are unsure, or if it's feeling awkward and you're like, I don't know about this. This is fantastic. Yeah, see?
I did it one time when you were half moon.
Yes. So I took this to Unity, another place that I teach now. And we did it on Sunday. And there's a woman who, well, she doesn't have a lot of confidence in herself. She has very low self-esteem. And on top of that, she just lost her dad. You know, and she's an older woman. She's probably in her 60s. And she's sweet as can be and comes all the time. And she's always like negative talking to herself, right? With photos. I brought this in and she tried it and she screamed with joy.
I love it.
Literally screamed with joy. And then she came out of it going, that's heaven, that's heaven. She hadn't been upside down since she was a child. And so if that scares you, or if you know you're just not ready for it, this thing is amazing. And you do it in a similar way. Your head goes through the hole so that your shoulders are positioned and padded, and your arms have to clip in. So you can do it with loose arms, but it's better if your arms clip in, because when you push down through your hands, your core is going to naturally engage, and you can lift and curl up like I just did, or you can take one leg up and let the other follow. Anyway, it's really nice because you there's no pressure on the head or the neck whatsoever, and you're getting all the benefits of being inverted. Anyone want to try it?
I'm gonna try to.
Come on over. And so for anyone who maybe wants to wait until she's finished, I can give you another pose to practice, which would be the legs apart, the hands down, same arm position, right? Hands down, arms in, and then you're still getting the benefit. Chakra.
In this hole, right?
It goes in the hole, yeah, goes all the way down, and your shoulders all the way back. All the way back, you got it.
Okay.
Elbows in, just like you're doing, and when you're ready, push down through your hands, and then come on up. And you can lean against the wall if you want. I love it. It's awesome, isn't it? Yes.
She looks like she's got
It
happy.
gives you freedom, and it's actually pretty peaceful.
I don't think I've ever gotten my knees up, and I think the difference was putting my
This is your
head
first
farther
one
away.
today?
As far as putting my, because I usually don't do it, I'm just scared, but
Yeah,
having the head farther away at the tip of the triangle, I think gave me more stability and more confidence.
absolutely.
Now, I'm
It
too,
gives you better balance.
yeah,
It's like a
I'm still too
tripod.
afraid to put my legs up in the air, but I would do that.
Yay. All right, I'm ready now. And you engage your core on the way down to have a lighter landing in your feet.
I love it, Robbie.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to try it?
I want to try it, even though
Okay, Katie, if you want to go to Shavasana 1, or if you want to do legs on the wall, or if anybody else wants to do Shavasana 1, you can. This is, by the way, wait, go all the way back. Yeah, now you're secure. And then arms in, push down with your hands. And when you're ready, come on. I'll help you. Yep,
Love it.
oh my gosh.
I think you're, no, you're good. Yeah, you straighten that. Wow. Kind of nice, isn't it? It is. So even though I could do a headstand in the early stages of yoga, I bought this right away when I discovered it, because it just felt so good. And you don't have that weight crunching into your cervical spine. And I used to have it in my kitchen, and so every time I go through the kitchen, I flip myself upside down. It's not in my kitchen anymore, but wow. Does anybody else want to try? No, you want to try? It looks intimidating,
It does.
but it's actually pretty easy.
It does. If you can get over the, like I said, what you're talking about, I'm always afraid to put my feet up.
Yeah.
Go all the way back to where your shoulders and
Yeah,
neck.
like I said, I had never gotten I was just
Yes,
too serious,
feel
I
that
got my.
security.
so that
Yes,
was
your
very
arms are in.
accomplishment.
Don't
This,
share
it
with
does
your
good, it's
hands.
really good for your
Yeah,
core,
you
you
sure
can feel it strengthen.
Nice, you can hold it by yourself.
Do it as much as I.
And if you need the wall, you can lean
This is
into
my
it.
favorite one.
And then just soften your neck.
The knees there.
Because our tendency is
Yeah.
to tense it.
I'm always like worried about, I'm always
Yeah.
focused on.
No, I don't. And we're very often, and even now I'm like,
Yeah.
so the too long, that's probably my limit.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can down the light touch too.
Are you gonna do this?
Don't try. Do you want to?
I think I'll try.
Go try it.
No, you go,
Oh.
I'll go after you. I'll do
We
it.
are going to, we are gonna be going to Legs Up the Wall. So
Come on.
Debbie and
Okay.
Gabriel's
Make sure
already
you do
there.
it first, because I can go.
I'm too chicken to do it.
Yep, and all the way back so you're secure, and then arm out of your hands. And then just make sure you relax your neck and breathe. Pull the feet a little closer together, just kind of pull through the toes a little bit. Does, doesn't it?
I'm just a big old chicken to do it on my own.
Okay, the other thing I want to bring your attention to, when we're upside down,
Yeah.
we get to see things in a new, fresh way. We see things from a new angle, from a new point of view. And remember, the positive qualities of a healthy crown chakra is to stay and be open-minded and to stay in the question of things. So Rob always tells me when we get into these like kind of spiritual philosophical talks, he's like, I don't question this. But being in the question of things is something we all should do according to this energy center. Nice.
I thought of Rob this week, we went to see Eric Clapton.
Did you?
Yeah.
Gabriel wanted me to take him so bad that I just couldn't fork out the money. Was it good?
It was really good, it was, like the center, he did a lot of acoustic in the center,
Yeah.
which was a little, I think people were expecting a little bit more rock and roll, but he did like the acoustic version of Layla. And then what was interesting, for the encore, he only had one encore, it really didn't play that long, like I'd say an hour and a half. He brought out Jimmy Vaughn, who was the opening act. And then we're looking at the stage, like, who is that guy? He brought out Marcus King, who's a local, probably 22 years old, a blues guitarist, so
Oh,
it was cool.
do you know how to do this? Okay, let me teach you. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna climb on your side, with your left to the wall, and I will side your neck. So we're gonna be listening in Shavasana to this, I call it a yogic prayer for peace. It's Samasta Sukhino Bharvantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may my own thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the happiness and freedom for all. So if we're connecting to the crown chakra, we're connecting to what's considered unity consciousness. And we understand that each of us creates a positive or a negative frequency or ripple effect at any given time. So this mantra is a reminder to keep your frequency high, to keep your vibes good, to send out those positive waves of influence. Western culture tends to separate spirit and matter. The earth is used wastefully, Science examines but avoids the subject of spirit. Corporations focus on profit with little regard for the environment, spiritual well-being of people. But connecting to the crown chakra gives us the spiritual essence that we're often longing for. It's almost like we've been living between the divorce of Mother Earth and Father Sky. So connecting to the crown chakra is re-emerging with the divine and realizing our true nature and connection to the whole universe. It's time to relax the mind and body. Just listen to the mantra.
sound of the bell chime. And as you're here to reconnect to your breath. And to slide the feet down the wall. Roll over to one particular side. And then come up and feel free to sit with your back against the wall. Coming to sit with your spine straight. Your legs can be straight at the wall if it's not comfortable to sit cross-legged. And we're going to bring the index finger to meet the thumb for Jnana Hand Mudra. This mudra is one of the mudras that's good for this crown chakra because it represents us connecting to our higher self, back to that infinite spirit within, the inner witness. And it also represents connecting to the highest intelligence and wisdom of all, the divine. Turned off the music so that we can sit with this mudra in silence. At first, maybe just watch your breath coming and going until your mind settles into that calm space. Thoughts. This sacred and profound silence that I hope you got a taste of is the origin from which all thoughts arise from. In that sacred silence, that sacred space, infinite possibilities and potential exist. This is where we connect back to source energy. This is where we can come to feel replenished, nourished, connected and whole. And this is where we reclaim our inner freedom and peace. Hands now together. So to stay connected to the crown chakra, remember the poses we did today. Remember the importance of practicing sacred silence. And any other type of spiritual practice can also help. Prayer, meditation, pranayama. And we all walk away from this practice being more tuned in to our crown chakras. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. Okay. So the